Hey guys, been working on a new project. For those of you that know, I've got a big boat and I love it, and I've got the kayaks and I love it, but I kind of wanted something that would go in between. So I've got a little Gheenoe, however you want to say it, that I've been working on, doing some patching, trying to build it up like I wanted. I kind of want to run it sort of like a solo skiff, if you will. It's going to be just a fast running little small boat that I can still get into kayak places. And I don't know much about the little boats like that, other than running them with a trolling motor. And I knew I wanted some sort of outboard for it to be able to reach far out places and go. But I still wanted to be able to run places that were super, super shallow. Now, without having to rig up a jack plate and a bunch of other stuff on them, to me about the best option on that was going to be a mud motor. And I've never had a mud motor. I know nothing about mud motors. So I did a little bit of research. I knew I didn't want anything really heavy. I wanted something that was, I'm not a speed demon. I don't have to get there, immediately. I mean, if I can run it 10 mile an hour, it's already 3 times faster than I can paddle. So when I did my looking around, I looked up and found the PPF mud motors, and this is the wood duck model. And the wood duck, runs with a 6.5 horsepower Briggs or a Predator motor or a Honda. So you could pick which motor you want with it. But I ordered the kit, and there's not a whole lot of information out there about the kit, so I just figured from start to finish we kind of try to go through it. Maybe that'll help you guys. If anybody's interested in this sort of stuff. Now, it's usually duck hunters, and I'm not a duck hunter. I have duck hunted, and I don't mind killing ducks, but that is not my forte. I am a photographer and a fish chaser, But I think this will be really, really neat to run on that little boat to get me into places that are shallow, that only kayaks and small boats like this can get into. I mean, I'd never be able to put my center console in some of the places that I go. But this will allow me to get to it further and faster than paddling. So this is all new to me. I may hate it, I may love it. We'll have to come back later and see that. But I wanted you to go through the process of putting it all together, just because I haven't seen a whole lot of information on YouTube about it. It comes very well packed and very well braced. And a nice hat, that's always a good touch. Alright, so that's it. I mean, they did a super job of packing this up to make sure that it wasn't going to get screwed up getting here. I got to give them props on that. The one thing that you guys didn't see me get out of the box was the motor mount. That's because it's already back with the Gheenoe. I took a clip, and I call them Gheenoes. I'll call them all kind of different things. But anyway, the motor mount is back with the boat. Alright, they recommended putting everything in a vise. I'm not equipped with a vise. So what I did was I took 2 boards, put them together. This is just a 3/4 inch hole. I had a Forstner bit that I put in there. And but that way it can go in there and set, wiggles in there, and it's sturdy. Everything's not going to move. So just as an idea, this is just clamped down to the sawhorse. Briggs and Stratton didn't see fit to include a key with their motor. So thankfully, my father used to work on lawnmowers, and I still have some of his stuff left. Oh, had to use a little bit of an alignment bar as a cheater just to get that in there. It didn't take much, but it was more than I could do with my bare fingers. So I'm really bad about over tightening stuff like a gorilla and snapping things off, so I'm just snugging these up and trying to behave myself. Alright, now this part's difficult to see, but it says to remove these two set screws on this side of the on this side of the coupler. Put red Loctite on it, which was included, and tighten, but don't over tighten. And they included the Loctite in there, so I gotta admit I'm impressed with the kit so far. Very well thought out. And so that's probably the part that'd be a whole lot easier if this had been held on with a vise. There it is. All right. That just fastens that little wire so you don't lose that pin. I ain't 100% sure that I didn't just screw up. The instruction says the red wire plugs into the only open female connector that comes out of the on-off switch of the engine. So that's what I did. It says there will be a yellow and a black wire that may not be used, and that's for the low oil cutoff. So make sure you always check your oil on these type of things. But I'm not 100% sure that this is correct until I tried to crank it. The one thing I do know is to put the ground on. So I can go from there, but the rest of it I'm not 100% sure on. We'll know if it cranks or if it don't. All right. It's tough to see, but you got to get that little peel piece. There's a notch in the back. And once you get it in that groove, then you got to go through both these grooves, and you can tighten everything back up. All right, y'all. I was about lost as a duck in the desert on how to do this, but I put in a call to PPF, and they were kind enough to answer and walk me through it. So I figured out what I needed to do. I thought I needed to come in the back and go to this here. I really need to come in the side. This is where your clamp is, and this is where all the other doodads are. So I had to remove the breather on this engine. Now, if you buy the engine from them, they said everything's prepped for you. I bought the engine locally, so I got to do a little bit of the prep work. But they were kind enough to talk me through it, and it was, really good. So another props for them. Good telephone support goes a long way, and tech support goes a long way in this industry. So I was very thankful for them. So. Here's my little clamp. Next it says ply grease, all in here. Rub it in good. And like everything, I tend to overdo. Alright, well there it is. 6.5 horsepower. See the business end. Weighs about 60 pounds, I guess, total. So we'll get her out, see if we can crank her up, run her. I'll give y'all a report, see what happens. Thanks for watching. There she is, all mounted up. And I've never had a mud motor before. This is the first one of them. We'll see. I may hate it, I may love it. I mean, it's pretty impressive what it would do out there in the shallow weeds. So, and that's the whole reason for this rig, was just trying to make something that could get, you know, super shallow. This is more like a long-range kayak to me than a power boat. So I'll keep you posted on it. Now, like I said, I may love it, I may hate it. We'll get a few trips in it and see what we can tell. So, but by the way, I did have it wired correctly the first time, so I was proud of that. Y'all take care.